I said, Steve? Oh,
okay. Television. Once upon a time, and in black and white, TV was a brand new invention. Families gathered together to watch moving pictures on this amazing new machine. But back then, TV only went as far as a broadcast antenna could transmit. Signals needed to go farther. A new industry was born, cable. New TV channels emerged, and new technology partners. Together, cable and cable partners began an ongoing quest to support and offer new services. Satellite distribution made national TV delivery possible. Live programming and special events became available at home for the very first time. Cable's ability to reach more viewers grew rapidly. But televisions could still only tune a few channels. So together, we developed the set-top box and gave viewers more choices and more control. We worked in concert, cable and its technology partners, to push the boundaries of TV. Electronic program guides helped viewers easily navigate dozens of channels. Hybrid fiber coax and digital video networks brought more choices with higher quality. Video on demand, time-shifted television. The increase in signal strength brought access to millions of homes. We worked together, cable and technology partners, to make TV better. The internet spawned a vibrant new future, and cable was there to bring it to customers. Cable modems, IP networks. Cable and Cisco worked together to help build America's broadband infrastructure. Now, we're reinventing television, cable with Cisco, together. Where does television go? It goes with people, from place to place, screen to screen. It keeps us connected to those we love. It informs. It entertains. It puts the world in our hands, so we can share what we see and hear. On any screen and every screen. Cable and Cisco have worked as partners, building on decades of experience to deliver better television. Now, let's take the next step together. Cisco Videoscape. Television reinvented.
Okay, so I didn't realize you guys were so far ahead on holographic television.
I know, it's amazing. And I don't look a day over 46 either, 60 years, amazing.
So I guess what that video was saying is that whether you two like it or not, you're in each other's DNA.
That is without a doubt the situation.
Yep. That is without a doubt the situation. All right, Ken, so tell us where Cisco is with this transition from today's world to the IP world. You're intimately involved with thinking about the migration and how it comes to pass.
Sure, absolutely. So I think, what we're seeing in front of us is obviously the transition that the group talked about earlier. And it's really about taking the right migration steps to get there. What Cisco's putting their focus on is clearly identifying what the endpoint is, which is really end-to-end IP video delivery, and what network infrastructure needs to be in place in terms of advanced DOCSIS 3.0 deployments, supporting adaptive bitrate kind of technologies. But then in the interim, taking focus steps as you go. So TV Everywhere services is the first step that many, many people are taking, being able to deliver over their high-speed data plan and in some cases deliver over unmanaged networks as well. Next step from that is actually building out some of the hybrid solutions that's already been talked about by the group here as well, which is how do I take some of those linear channels, deliver them much more cost effectively to other devices in the home. And so the role of hybrid gateways and what we're doing there with our next generation of hybrid video gateways that enables the kind of IP devices that Shiva was showing just earlier, everything from connected TVs through consoles, PCs, mobile, and the like. At the end of the day, this is all about how do I have a unified content ingest, aggregation, and delivery infrastructure, and how do I leverage the power of the cloud to be able to work in concert with the network and ultimately these endpoint devices. We've had a very device-centric nature in the cable industry to date, and to a certain degree it's inhibited certain rates of which we could do service innovation. As we now have the ability with the increased network capabilities to leverage the cloud, we're able to really move forward at a pace that we hopefully haven't seen before in the industry that really enables customers to get what they want.
And I am planning on you to be my Ed McMahon here, so just step in at any time. Did you bring something you wanted to show, or did we leave that?
I've always learned if Shiva's on and showing something, don't bring anything. He's already shown it. So what we've got is just a couple examples over there of videoscape of clients showing them on unmanaged devices in the form of traditional iPads as well as PCs. But what I would encourage people to do is just come by the Cisco booth just over there and see the end-to-end videoscape solutions up and running. It's a much better way to experience it in person.
Okay. Tell me what your thoughts are. I mean, you've been involved with digital video for as long as I've known you, which is a really long time. Back to Power TV.
Oh, yes.
And before that, the graphics chip company.
Yep.
So where does the software part of it go? Like, how does set-top become virtualized or soft client? How does that trajectory play out?
I think it gets really interesting, which is, if you look at set-tops in particular, we've collectively as an industry spent a lot of time and energy and money on creating unique devices. And the nature now, as we can start to leverage the advances that have happened in the internet and web technologies, means that we can actually make these endpoint devices, set-tops, IP set-tops in particular, behind gateways, look like any other device. They shouldn't look unique kind of thing. They should look more like another device. And so, as people have already said, leveraging open environments like HTML5, Flash potentially, and some of the other standards that are evolving become exactly the right thing to gain that same service velocity. Soft clients, an IP set-top should be able to run a soft client, same soft client that you run on other devices. And that will actually get us to the point where we get this rate of innovation. And you can only do that by leveraging the cloud and the network to give you the flexibility that you then have in the client side.
Okay.
Ken, I think we all agree on the set of technologies that we're talking about here, HTML5, a lot of the stuff from the cloud, a lot of the client technologies. From the operator's point of view, I think what I'm really interested in hearing, though, is what it is that Cisco is going to bring to the deployment side of that. How are you really going to make it easier for us to deploy to all of these kinds of endpoint devices that you're talking about?
So that starts off with what we're doing on the back end in terms of having a unified management platform there for how services are delivered, how content is ingested, how you manage all those different content formats that are going to live across this range of device. Then in terms of having an optimized delivery infrastructure in the form of CDN to be able to efficiently get the content down to the devices. And it really is about, especially with Videoscape, is providing this framework that allows you to handle all of the variables, the different DRMs that are in devices, the different content containers that may be there. There's still more standardization to happen in the space to actually minimize some of those variations, but Cisco's kind of at the forefront of ensuring that we can get to a unified content delivery environment that then we can instantiate all manner of soft clients. And from our point of view, it's about enabling the innovation to happen on those clients. It's not about us providing that. That's where, historically it's always taken the cable industry to provide that innovation on the clients. We want the greater world to provide the innovation on those clients, and we'll see magical things happen that we haven't seen happen in this space before.
10 years ago at this trade show, Wink had just been shut down. We were as an industry, we were talking about Chila and Phyla and all these archaic old security acronyms. I know it's always unfair to ask a crystal ball question, but a few years from now, what is the landscape going to look like for equipment? What is Steve going to be shopping for?
I think Steve's going to be shopping for, obviously the cheapest endpoint device he can find. The cheapest one is something that the consumer bought themselves.
Yes.
So that's the first thing, is all these other devices. There's obviously still value in terms of set-top devices because the manageability aspect that you get to it. I think that's one thing that we're seeing that will happen over the course of the next 3 years is driving the manageability aspect of unmanaged devices. It kind of sounds counterintuitive, but you've really got to be able to manage these devices, otherwise it's going to result in a lot of CSR calls. The other thing that you're going to see is really just a expectation from the consumer that these services just work everywhere, yeah? And I think the challenge for the industry, and certainly one that Cisco's stepping up to, is how do you provide that manageability of unmanaged devices? Because that's a critical hole, I would say, in this space right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we see this every day. Customers wanting services delivered to new devices, and the iPad, of course, was a bit of a watershed. But it's really set expectations with the customers now that they can get their video services on the devices that they want to get them on.
Yeah.
Okay. I never thanked the prior. If you're still back there, guys, thank you for demoing for us. Shall we go to the television demo?
Let's
Thank you
go.
so
Let's
much
move
for
it.
coming,
Okay.
Ken.
Hey, thank you.